Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, Mukesh English. Dear friends, in this video, I'm going to analyze an important essay titled Shooting an Elephant, which is written by the famous British novelist, essayist, and the writer George Orwell. That is his pen name. His real name is here Eric Blair. The essay Shooting an Elephant is in the syllabus of first semester BCA General English under Bangalore University from the year 2024, the new syllabus, SCP syllabus. So before we move on to the analysis, let's know the introduction, let's know the brief about this essay. Shooting an Elephant is an essay by George Orwell, which is written in 1936, which was written in 1936. In this essay, George Orwell shares his experience as a British police officer in Burma. One day, he is forced to shoot an elephant that has caused trouble in the town. Although, although he doesn't want to kill the animal, he feels pressured by the local crowd and his role as a colonial officer. This essay explores the struggles of living under imperialism and shows how both the British rulers and the Burmese people are affected by it. George Orwell uses the story of the elephant, to reflect on power, control, the challenges of doing what is right when facing the outside expectations. So now let's analyze the whole essay, and I have tried to give the complete solution, the complete analysis on screen with the description. So have patience to go through the video. It will be quite the longest video because the content is also as long, right? So let's begin it. So George Orwell as a British officer in Burma. George Orwell talks about his time as a British police officer in Burma, where he was disliked by many local people. Though the hostility was not violent, though he was disliked, but there was no violence, the Burmese people, they showed their resentment by mocking and insulting him. So how they used to show their hostility, hatred, just by mocking him, by insulting him. For example, he was stripped during a football game and people would laugh at him. This is how they used to insult him, but they never used to turn into the violence. He also mentions that the young Buddhist priests were especially rude. These experiences made him feel isolated and frustrated, and they gave him a sense of how difficult and tense life was for Europeans in the colonial Burma. So, what he learned being as a police officer over there, he learned that it was very difficult for the British people, for Europeans to stay in Burma because it was very tense life. Though there was no violence, but they used to get insulted by the locals. So further, what is further? Imperialism. So what do we know about imperialism in this essay? George Orwell describes how he felt confused and upset during his time as a British police officer in Burma. He had already decided that imperialism, that means to say the British control over the other countries. He already decided that imperialism was wrong and he wanted to quit his job. Deep down, he supported the Burmese people and he opposed the British, but he felt trapped. He hated his job because he saw the harsh treatment of the prisoners and the suffering caused by the British rule. So, this is how he did not like the imperialism. He felt guilty, but he didn't know how to make sense of it all. He was young and he did not fully understand the larger issues like the decline of the British Empire. He felt torn between his hatred for the empire and his anger at the Burmese people who made his job difficult. So his mixed feelings showed how imperialism created confusion and anger even among the people working to enforce it. So that's about imperialism, which he reflected, which he experienced while he stayed at Burma as a police officer. So now the story of an elephant begins here. George Orwell tells a story about an elephant who was causing trouble in the town. One morning, he gets a call from the police officer asking him to handle the situation. Why? The elephant was not wild, but a tame one had gone must. The tame one had gone must. Must means to say a kind of condition when male elephants become aggressive during the mating season. So this male elephant had broken its chain and it had escaped. The elephant's handler, that means to say the mahot, who is like a driver or the handler who looks after the elephant's handler, who is called as a mahot, had gone after it but got lost. The person also got lost. So he was away when the elephant returned to the town. So what happened? The elephant had already destroyed a bamboo hut. It had already killed a cow and eaten fruit from the street stalls. It had also turned over a rubbish truck when the driver ran away. So the Burmese people had no way to stop the elephant because they didn't have weapons. So that's the reason that George Orwell was called to handle this situation. So what happened now? Now the search for the elephant begins. So George Orwell and the police officer were searching for the elephant in a very poor and crowded area with small bamboo huts. They were searching over there. The people they asked about the elephant, and these people used to confuse, and they never used to give any kind of clear answers, which has made Orwell to think the whole story might be made up. He thought that these guys, they have created this story. It's a cooked up story. There's no such elephant because they were not answering about the whereabouts of elephant. But then they hear the shouting and they see an old woman chasing children away from something. Suddenly they saw shouting that an old woman was chasing children away from something. What happened exactly? So when George Orwell he goes to investigate, he finds a dead man lying in the mud. He found a dead body, a man who died, who was lying in the mud. The man was killed by the elephant. How? The elephant had attacked him suddenly. The body shows the signs of the symbols, the signs of elephant strength with a deep mark on the ground where the man's face had been pressed and his back had been badly damaged by the elephant's foot. So the man's expression shows extreme pain and his body is in a twisted position. After seeing the body, Orwell immediately sends for a powerful rifle to deal with the elephant. He sends immediately somebody that, though he has a rifle, but he is demanding there should be more powerful rifle, and he thought that now it's time to kill the animal. So yes, he has sent somebody to bring the powerful rifle, right? Because one man was killed by the elephant. Now Orwell gets a rifle and finds out from some locals that the elephant is in the paddy fields nearby. So now those locals have told him that where's the elephant? The elephant is in the paddy fields somewhere nearby. So now he's heading towards a field, he's going towards a field, and there's a large crowd of Burmese people. They are following whom? They are following George Orwell as some show is going up. They had not been interested in the elephant when it was causing damage to the homes, but now they think it might be shot, so they're excited, right? Some of them even would like to eat the elephant's meat also. That's the reason they are following George Orwell, because George Orwell is carrying very heavy rifle to kill, and everybody would like to see this kind of show here, shooting the elephant. Orwell feels very uneasy because he didn't plan to shoot the elephant. He only got the rifle for the protection. So it's very uncomfortable for him to have so many people who are following him. He doesn't feel comfortable. Why these guys are following me? When they reach the fields, Orwell sees the elephant very calmly eating the grass, not paying any attention to the crowd. He got shocked. He got shocked because he does not see elephant in a very aggressive mode or any kind of a violent mode. He just observed that elephant is very easily eating the grass, and he's not paying attention to the whole crowd who has come along with George Orwell. So what happens further? Now, when Orwell sees the elephant in the field, he quickly realizes that he should not shoot it. Why? He should not shoot it because elephants are valuable like any expensive machinery, and it's a serious decision to kill one, right? So at that moment, the elephant looks calm, harmless, just eating grass like a cow. Orwell believes the elephant's aggressive behavior, which is called as a must behavior, is likely ending. He thinks that, okay, now his aggressive behavior has come down and it will probably just wander around until its handler Mahoth returns. So he thinks that he will simply roam here and there, and by the time Mahoth, the person who looks after the caretaker, he will come back. Orwell also doesn't want to shoot the elephant. He doesn't want to shoot the elephant at all. So he decides to watch it for a little distance while to make sure it doesn't get aggressive again, and then he thinks he should leave. So he's watching it very much keenly. He's just trying to judge that is the elephant getting aggressive or not, and then he thinks that if it's not getting aggressive, then they should leave. So he has no idea, he has no plan to kill the elephant now. What happens further? Now George Orwell realizes that the huge crowd watching him expects him to shoot the elephant. The crowd, who is about 2,000 people, is excited. They're watching him very closely, hoping him to act to shoot. Although George Orwell does not want to shoot the elephant, he feels the pressure of the crowd's expectations. He understands that he has no choice but to shoot because they're all waiting for him to do it. I hope you understood now. There's a pressure from the crowd. All the crowd are eagerly watching George Orwell that now, he's going to shoot, he's going to shoot. Now he's pressurized from the crowd's expression, though he doesn't want to shoot the elephant. So at this moment, George Orwell realizes that being a white man in charge in a place like Burma is not as powerful as it seems. He feels like he's being controlled by the crowd's expectations. He feels that he has become like these guys are controlling me by the expectations. He understands that when a white man rules, he does not have true freedom. He has to always act in a way that pleases or impresses the local crowd. Now he has understood the complete situation, that why these guys are not violent and why people doesn't want to stay here. So if he doesn't shoot an elephant, what will happen? The crowd would laugh at him, and he doesn't want that kind of mockery, that kind of insult. So what he does, he feels very forced. He feels a kind of force to do something which he does not want to do, just to avoid looking weak. So he doesn't want to do to kill the elephant, but he's forced to do something which he does not want to do. So let us see what happens further. But but Orwell does not want to shoot the elephant. He watches the elephant calmly eating grass, looking peaceful. It feels like it would be wrong to kill him, even though Orwell had killed animals before. Shooting an elephant seems too much to him, especially because it's a such a large animal. He also thinks about the elephant's honor. If the elephant is alive, it's worth a lot of money, but if it's dead, it's worth much less, just the value of its tusk. That's what he thinks. So, despite not wanting to kill the elephant, Orwell feels he must act quickly. He says that enough, I have to take some decision now. He asks some local Burmans who had been there before how the elephant was behaving, and they tell him that the elephant won't bother you if you leave it alone, but it might charge if you get too close. Look at the situation. The people are telling him that if you leave it alone, there's no issue, but if you go closer to the elephant, it will get charged. As we say, it will start behaving in a very aggressive manner. So Orwell knows that now dilemma is here. George Orwell knows here what he should do. He should walk up to the elephant and see how it reacts. So he thinks that it's better. Let me go closer to it. If the elephant charges, if the elephant reacts, he could shoot it. But if it ignores him, he can wait for the honor to return. He can wait for the honor to return. So, however, Orwell also knows that he is not going to do this because he is not a good shot with a rifle. And the soft, muddy ground would make it hard to move. If the elephant charged and he missed, he would be in a serious danger. See the situation here. Orwell knows that he is not going to do this. Why? Because he's not a good shot with a rifle, because in this location he cannot shoot him properly. Why? Because the ground is muddy. The ground is muddy, and 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 because if he shoots also, if the elephant is charged and if he missed the shooting, if he missed the target, what will happen? This elephant cannot move, and he also cannot move in this muddy ground, and he will be in a great danger. He will be in the serious danger, because if he goes nearby the elephant, he will also get caught in the muddy ground, right? But Orwell is not really thinking about his own safety. What worries him most is the crowd of 2,000 people watching him. That's the most important thing, is he's not thinking about his safety. What is thinking, look at these 2,000 people are watching me and they will think that I'm not capable. He feels like he can't show fear in front of them because a white man is not supposed to appear scared in front of the local crowd. Look at the ego has come here. The DNA speaks here. A white man is not supposed to appear scared in front of the local crowd. So his main concern is that if something goes wrong, the crowd would see him fail, and if some might even laugh. So he knows that he can't let that happen. He knows that now I should not plan in that manner. I have to think some other strategy. So he this is his dilemma. So Orwell realizes that there's only one choice left. What's the one choice? He has to shoot the elephant. He can't leave the elephant as it is. He loads the rifle and he lies down on the road to get a better shot. Right? He's targeting. The crowd becomes very quiet, excited, because they are finally going to see something happen. The rifle he's using is a well made German rifle with a crosshairs for aiming. At that moment, Orwell doesn't know the correct way to aim at an elephant because he has a lot of pressure, right? Just like Sachin Tendulkar is at the last ball to make the century and he gets a crowd hooting, but here something is different. Everybody's silent. So he has this kind of pressure here. He shouldn't aim for a spot between the elephant's ears, but instead, what does he do? He aims a little too far in front, thinking the brain is farther forward. So he doesn't aim at the ears, he aims nearby the brain because he aims a little too far in front, thinking farther, the brain is somewhat forward. All right. So what happens further? When Orwell fired the gun, he did not hear the shot or feel the kick of the rifle because the shot hit the elephant. But he heard the crowd cheering excitement. Because of the excitement, he could not hear the shot. But it had hit the elephant. Right after the shot, the elephant's body seemed to change in a strange way. There was a changed behavior. It looked like it had been hurt badly by the bullet, even though it did not fall. Still, elephant is standing with the pain. The elephant appeared older and weaker, like it was suddenly very old and tired due to the bullet shot. After a few seconds, the elephant slowly knelt down, looking very weak. So he has fallen down slowly, knelt down means with his he himself is getting down. Orwell again shot, but the elephant did not fall. This time, elephant did not fall. It struggled to stand up, When George Orwell shot a third time, the elephant finally collapsed. Its body seemed to shake with pain. So three times he had to shot. How many times? Three times. And the third time, excuse me, I'm sorry for the disturbance. Three times he had shot the elephant, and the third time it collapsed. As it fell, as it fell, it looked like it was rising for a moment, its trunk reaching up like a tree. Then it made a loud trumpeting sound, and fell to the ground with a huge crash that shook the earth. So very poetic expression how an elephant falls down. So finally, he shooted him. He shooted the elephant. Orwell stood up, saw the Burmans running past him toward the elephant. It was clear that the elephant wouldn't get up again, but it was still alive. It was still alive. The elephant's breathing was slow and painful with long gasps. Its mouth was wide open, and Orwell could not see deep into its throat. He waited for a long time it to die, but its breathing did not slow down. Still, the elephant is happy, is alive, right? Eventually, he has already fired three times. Eventually, he fired his remaining two shots at what he thought was the elephant's heart, but still it didn't die. So the another two shots he had targeted elephant's heart, but still elephant did not die. Thick blood poured out of the elephant, but it did not react to the shots. It was clear that the elephant was dying slowly and painfully. It seemed to be in a different world where the bullets could not hurt it any more. Orwell could not bear the noise of the elephant's suffering, so he sent for a smaller rifle and fired more shots into its heart and throat. However, nothing changed. The elephant's gasping continued as steady as the ticking clock, slowly. Still, elephant was breathing after too many shots. Five shots, and afterwards, some more shots were done. Now, in the end, Orwell could not stand watching the elephants suffering anymore, so he left. He left. He afterwards, he heard that elephant took about half an hour to die. It took about half an hour to die. Even before Orwell left, the Burmans were already taking parts of the elephant's body. And by afternoon, they had stripped it almost completely because they wanted to eat the elephant's meat, right? After the incident, there were many discussions about whether shooting the elephant was the right thing to do. The elephant's owner was very angry, but he could not do anything because he was just an Indian. He had no power. Legally, Orwell was right to shoot the elephant because it was dangerous like a mad dog. Among the Europeans, opinions were split. Older men thought it was the right decision, but the younger men felt it was wrong to kill the elephant just because it killed a coolie. Coolie means a dead body was found. That was a poor Indian worker because the elephant was worth more than the coolie. So this is the climax of the essay, shooting an elephant. So let's try to say with the last statement. So Orwell was secretly glad the coolie had been killed because it made the shooting of the elephant legally justified, because the dead man killed was killed by the elephant, so he killed the elephant. So finally, what is justification? Because it had killed the coolie, so elephant was also legally killed. So he wondered if anyone else understood that he had shot the elephant just to avoid looking foolish. He wondered if anyone else understood that he had shot the elephant just to avoid looking foolish, because he does not want to become a subject of mockery. If he would have not killed the elephant, all the local people, the Burmese, they would have laughed at him. And to reach the expectations, because everybody was watching eagerly that this is the time where this police officer would shoot. So now we can say here, finally, we can conclude the essay with this note. Number one, realization of powerlessness. So Orwell realizes that as a British officer, he is not truly in control. The expectations of the Burmese people forced him into an action which he does not want to take. The absurdity of imperialism. The story highlights the absurdity and the more conflict in imperialism, where both the colonizer and the colonized are trapped by the system. Pressure to conform. George Orwell feels the pressure to act as a British Sahib, not appear weak or foolish in front of the crowd, even though he doesn't want to shoot the elephant. Moral conflict. George Orwell reflects on how his actions were driven by the fear of being laughed at rather than a genuine sense of justice, exposing the hollow nature of his role. Symbolism of the elephant. The shooting of the elephant symbolizes the destructive consequences of imperialism, not just for the colonized, but for the colonizers themselves, whose freedom and morality are compromised by the rules. And finally, the end of the elephant. So, after prolonged and agonizing death, the elephant dies, symbolizing the inevitable consequences of unnecessary violence under imperialism. So we can say here this essay describes the, we can say here this essay, Shooting an Elephant by George Orwell, explores the themes of power, responsibility, and complexities of colonialism. So, friends, this is how I have tried to simplify the essay Shooting the Elephant by George Orwell, though it's quite lengthy. So, why have I given the content on screen? So that it will be very easy for you to understand. I have also given the each heading for each slide. So it will be very easy for you to note down all the 12 important key points, important incidents which happen in this essay. So dear students, hope you have liked this video. If you have liked this video, click on the like button and please do write in the comment box how do you feel about this video, how do you think about George Orwell's act here. Do comment on this, and if you have any questions you can reach me at mukeshenglish@gmail.com. If you haven't yet subscribed my channel, please do subscribe the channel. You'll be getting many more videos, model question papers, important questions on this channel or on the playlist of first semester BCE. Thank you so much. Stay connected with Mukesh English.